This lemony orzo pasta salad is the perfect dish to bring to a picnic, potluck, or barbecue this summer. It is garlicky and rich, but still light and bright. And we're gonna get started by making some spiced chickpeas. I like using chickpeas in this recipe because it makes it a little more filling, adds some protein, and canned chickpeas on their own are pretty mediocre at best. So we're gonna give them a lot of love in the flavor department. Once your chickpeas are drained and rinsed, you wanna gently dry off the moisture. Grab a sauté pan or frying pan and heat it up for a few minutes over medium-high heat. Just testing the pan to see if it's hot enough. Yes! Lower the heat a bit so the chickpeas don't burn. I need a new bottle. This one's 6. Now you might be tempted to stir these constantly. Just let them hang out for a minute or two so they can start to brown. I am using a stainless steel pan, so you need to preheat that properly, otherwise the chickpeas will stick. If you're not sure how to do that, you can just use a nonstick pan instead. The goal is to get these golden brown with just a little char, and while we wait for those to finish, we're gonna mix our spices. We're gonna use a little bit of oregano, paprika, onion powder, thyme, and of course, some salt. Once the chickpeas are looking nicely golden brown, it's time for our spice blend. And you wanna toss pretty constantly just to well coat the chickpeas and all that goodness. Now this only took about 6-7 minutes in a stainless steel pan. If you're using nonstick, it'll probably take double the time, so just keep that in mind. I've got some water heating up for the orzo, and while that comes to a boil, we can prep all of our other ingredients. We're gonna use 6 garlic cloves. For now though, I'm just gonna use 5 of them. I'll show you how to use the other one at the end. You're going for a thin slice here, but not a paper thin slice. And if you can, try to slice them as evenly as you can so that they cook evenly in the olive oil sauce. No garlic left behind. Another ingredient in our garlicky olive oil sauce are preserved lemons. These are one of my favorite ingredients. They are super bright and lemony, but a bit more unique than fresh lemons. And because they are preserved or fermented in a lot of salt, they're also salty and funky and have a lot of umami to them. They really add this je ne sais quoi quality to this dish that makes it super special. You really only need the peel of the preserved lemon, so I like to take a paring knife and just shave it off. The interior is a bit too soft and squishy and salty. You can get preserved lemons at Middle Eastern markets or online. If you want to learn how to make them at home, I have a video on my channel showing you just how to do that, and you don't have to get them out of a tiny jar. And you're looking for about 2 tablespoons of finely chopped preserved lemon peel. It smells so good. Oh, it's just delightful. You're gonna bring this dish to the party and someone's gonna have a bite and they're gonna be like, what is that flavor? And you're just gonna saunter over real nonchalantly and be like, oh, that's preserved lemon. And they're gonna think you're a top chef, so don't skip the preserved lemons. If you can't find them, there is a substitute in the blog post though. Another really fun ingredient in this recipe are sun-dried tomatoes. These are chewy and rich, and they've got this really perfect sweet and savory profile. Like so many things that peaked in the 90s, sun-dried tomatoes really deserve a comeback. And I feel like 2025 needs to be the year of the sun-dried tomato. They are delicious, they're chewy, they're rich, they're sweet and savory, and they add so much good texture and flavor to this dish.
It's 2024.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's halfway over, so like, I'm waiting until next year. I'm giving it 6 months to like ramp up the hype. Make it happen, people. Hype up the sun-dried tomato. By the way, the oil that comes in a bottle like this, you can use it to start a pan sauce, to put it with pasta. It's got a lot of flavor in there. We're gonna add some baby spinach, add some nutrients to this dish, and a beautiful green color. Spinach is green. This video, by the way, like 95% of my videos, is not sponsored because I don't really want to sell you an overpriced greens powder that's probably not as good as just, I don't know, eating some spinach. But that doesn't mean I don't want to promote anything. My new cookbook, Big Vegan Flavor, is coming out on September 3rd and is officially available for pre-order. It is 600 pages of mastering vegan cooking, plus 150 incredible big flavor recipes. You can go to bigveganflavor.com to learn more, and if you order before September 3rd, you will get an amazing package of free bonus content. So check out the link below, and with that, our non-advertisement is over, and we are just gonna roughly chop up some spinach. The last thing we're gonna prep is our gremolata. It's typically made with flat leaf parsley, garlic, lemon zest, and salt, but I like to use basil instead of parsley because it's super summery, the flavors just work really well in this recipe. The easiest way to finely chop your basil is to stack several leaves on top of one another, roll them up together, kind of like a cigar, which you shouldn't smoke, and then finely slice them. This is known as a chiffonade, but the strips are a little too long for our purposes here, so I'm gonna rotate the pile of herbs, chop it up, do that a couple more times until you have some nicely chopped basil. It does take a few minutes to chop all the basil this way, so if you're looking for a shortcut, you can just tear the basil leaves with your hands and stir them in at the end of the dish along with some minced garlic and some lemon zest. We'll also juice the lemon and add it at the end, so you're gonna get lots of different lemon flavors that are gonna hit your taste buds in different ways. And we gotta have some flaky sea salt. Oh, it smells so fresh. This is an orzo pasta salad. Orzo is technically pasta, but it's kind of in the shape of rice, so you're gonna get a spoonable pasta salad texture, which I think is lovely. Once your water is at a rolling Once your water is at a rolling boil, you want to salt the water, but this is not sufficient. You don't need a pinch, you need like a palmful. You want to generously salt your pasta water. While the orzo is cooking, we'll start on our olive oil pan sauce. I've got a nice couple glugs of olive oil in our saute pan, along with the sliced garlic and some pine nuts. I'm starting this in a cold pan and turning it to medium-low heat. That way everything cooks gently and evenly. Add a pinch of salt. What we're basically doing is toasting the pine nuts. It's going to bring out the volatile oils in the pine nuts, which is where all the flavor lives. And in turn, the pine nuts are going to infuse the olive oil with their rich, buttery flavor. So it's like mutual symbiosis in the most delicious way. Once the garlic and pine nuts start to sizzle, you want to stir this more frequently so nothing burns. Don't forget to scoop out some pasta water first. Once the pine nuts and garlic have a nice golden color to them, but not super brown, it's time to add our preserved lemon. Also gonna add a little bit of chili flakes because I want just a little kick. Ooh, looking good. And now we're gonna add in a little bit of pasta water. The starch is going to help thicken this, and also the salt is gonna just make it taste better. Pop in your orzo gently, because otherwise it'll splatter. Sun-dried tomatoes. And just use the olive oil sauce to coat the orzo. If you feel like it needs a little more pasta water to come together, go ahead and add a splash more. Baby spinach and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. The lemon juice is gonna brighten up all the richness from the olive oil and the pine nuts. Just such a pretty dish. The spinach is wilted, so add in your spiced chickpeas and just let them warm up in this delicious looking orzo. Woo. Get that gremolata in there for that fresh finish. A little pepper. Time for a taste test. Woo. I think y'all are going to love this recipe. You can find the printable version in the description box below. Be sure to check out bigveganflavor.com for my cookbook. And if you want even more fun summer recipes, check out this playlist, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!